Welcome to Moon Harbor Extended. Today's issue is Days Errant, Issue 2 of Rats and Rivals. On the cover, the team faces off against a rat lord astride a giant rat in a crowded sewer. Solar Flare wields her spear, ready to throw. Voila throws a rope of colorful ribbons. Velveteen reaches into the hat, drawing out the rat lord's spear. We turn the page, and our story begins.
Yeah, so you guys continue down this maze, and Velveteen, the rats have taken like a few turns, but you can still kind of see where they've been. And after like 2 or 3 turns, you guys see a single rat like 20 feet ahead of you. It's just looking straight at you.
A normal-sized rat?
Yes.
I'm going to pull short for a moment. Kind of lock eyes with this rat. Does it do anything?
As soon as you lock eyes, it turns tails and runs in the other direction.
Can I roll to charge my burn really fast?
Yeah. All right. 15.
All right, so that's a 15.
Hot damn.
So I've got 3 holes. I'm going to spend 1 immediately to use Snatch to grab the rat. The way that works is I reach into the hat, because I still have the top hat with me. I always have the top hat with me. I reach into it, grab the rat's tail from a distance, and pull the rat back through the top hat.
It is kicking and flailing in your hand. It does not like this.
I'm going to pass it to Voila.
What? I don't want that.
Just hold it. Hold on. And then I'm going to turn into a rabbit, and I'm going to talk to this rat.
I am so visibly uncomfortable holding this rat. Like, I'm trying to hold it securely while touching it as little as possible.
Perfect.
Solar Flare holds out her hand to offer to take it, which is probably a worse idea.
100% I've tossed it into your hand at that point.
Solar Flare just has this rat now. Now it gets to be sweaty.
Once Solar Flare has the rat, I'm going to turn into a rabbit, and I'm going to start talking. Because we established that I can talk to animals when I'm an animal.
Does talking to animals look different on the panel at all? From just being a human and talking in English or whichever?
I think the text boxes are different. I think it's a different outline and probably a different font, but I don't think it looks all that different. There's no communication difference. We're not in Carl's brain bubble. We're just chatting. Well, you were off somewhere in a hurry. Where were you going?
Just doing things. Busy rat stuff.
Well, we both know I don't believe that. So, you're going to tell me what I want to know, or my friend with the fire is going to burn you alive and we're going to eat you.
Wow, okay.
I think I'm provoking.
Absolutely.
I think in the background of this, because I'm assuming Solar Flare and I do not understand any of the animal language. I'm just look over at Solar Flare do you think it's going well? I can never tell with these things.
I don't know. Maybe. She's got the worst case of resting bitch face, so I'm standing there being intimidating without really intending to.
That was a 12 to provoke. They tell me what I want.
Yep. So the rat struggles for a little bit more, and then it just kind of sighs and stays limp. I was gonna go tell the rat lords that someone was here.
Now, the rat lords, I assume, at least, are ready for an attack?
I don't know. I'm just a scout. I was supposed to hang around this area and see if anyone was gonna come down.
Now, friend, I very much want to believe you, but I think you know more than you're letting on. So, when they came this way, did they have something with them that they stole?
I actually wasn't there for that. I was on a different assigned duty. I'm just here now to scout afterwards.
All right, that's fine.
I got a busy schedule, you know.
Can I pierce the mask?
Yeah.
It's a great first issue. Someone's piercing the mask of a rat.
Thank God you can't go more than -3. Whatever, it's fine. I still got an 8.
Yeah, you 79, ask 1.
How could I get your character to lead us to the rat lords?
First, definitely let it go. It does not like being held, and especially by somebody who is made out of fire. Second, I think you would have to offer it something.
I look at it and I'm like, well, I don't think that you want any trouble, and I don't want any trouble, so listen, we've got plenty of food. I can just, grab some for you really fast, leave you a nice little meal, make sure that we don't burn you alive or, feed you to our massive dogs up above. And
Where's the food? Where's the food?
um right, that is a good question. Where is the food? The food is I'm like, you'll get the food when you lead us to the Rat Lords.
It kind of hesitates, and you see like its nose like sniffing a bit. What kind of food?
Well, if you give us good information and we get to the Rat Lords safely and we make it out alive, I can get you whatever you want.
It kind of sniffs around a bit and says, "I can take you to one of the rat lords."
All right. I hope you don't take any offense to this, but we're not going to let you out of our sight. And if you do anything, I can just grab you again. So, don't try anything funny.
Okay, I'll be good.
All right. I turn back into a person and I'm like, we had a chat and he's
What's his
going to
name?
take me to the Rat Lords. Or take us to the Rat Lords.
What's his name?
Oh, I don't know. Names aren't really a big thing in the animal kingdom.
Well, you have a couple.
Yeah, but I didn't have any till I was a human. All right, hold on. I'll ask him what his name is. I turn back into a rabbit and I'm like,
There's just this big dramatic display of Solar sighing, and she can't roll her eyes because she doesn't have pupils, but you can feel it.
I turn back into a rabbit and I'm like, by the way, what's your name?
Oh, he starts like squeaking in there's like maybe like 3 or 4 squeaks in a couple different tones. Like squeak, 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 squeak. It's not really translatable into English.
I'm going to call you Raticus Finch. And I'm going to turn back into a person. I'm going to be like, his name is Raticus Finch.
The rat's like definitely making a couple squeaking noises in protest.
That's a good name.
I agree. Great name. He clearly likes literature. So if you let him go, we can just follow him right to one of the Rat Lords.
Yeah, no, Solar Flare, like, expression unchanging, just opens her hand and drops him on the ground.
He lands fairly gracefully and like runs around you guys, specifically around Cass, and is kind of like sniffing around their feet, like any traces of food. But once he's kind of run around and celebrated his freedom, he starts going ahead at a like not as fast a pace as he was going earlier.
Right then, we should follow.
So you guys go down like the maze of the sewers a ways. Radicus Finch squeaks every now and then. You guys turn the corner and you see a bunch more rats, like a couple dozen, that look like they were in the middle of something and like we're very surprised to see you. And Radicus Finch is looking a bit nervous now.
How do they react to us?
They're first kind of like looking at you guys like, oh, there's some people. But then a few of them turn and notice Radicus Finch with you guys.
I think I'm going to turn into a rabbit and be like, we mean you all no harm. We come in peace.
Immediate cut to Solar Flare, like, so can I stab these ones? Or
So Velveteen, you can see them like kind of talking amongst themselves a bit, and you see several of them in the back start scurrying off. The rest that are still there turn and look at you guys. And it also looks like some of them are slipping off to the side to get behind you.
No, you don't. Turn into a person and then I don't think I'm going to use Snatch. I think I'm just going to like cast a spell and just like block them from leaving.
The ones like leaving, or the ones behind you?
The ones who are like scampering off down the way.
Cool. Can you roll to unleash your powers?
Actually, I think I'm going to use Constructs. I'm going to spend a second burn to essentially my constructs show up more like I reach into my pocket and pull out a card and it's a diamond and I flip it over at them, and when it lands in front of them it just turns into like a diamond wall.
Cool. So does that like pop up in front of the rats that are trying to escape?
Yep.
You see of the ones that had gone to surround behind you, a few more peel off of those to go running away in a different direction. And you guys are still like surrounded by several dozen rats. What do you do?
I'm gonna pull my single granola bar out of my pocket, unwrap it, and toss it. See if I can get them to go after it.
Like tossing it away from you guys?
Yeah, it's kind of like towards the middle of the group of the rats.
Radicus Finch immediately runs towards that. Like you guys promised him food, and there was food. He's gonna try to go get that. So there's a bit of a scuffle as like he really wants that granola bar, but they're not really moving away from you guys.
I think I made it worse. Cass, what do we do here?
Well, I mean, the rats, we could just kill them. But I know that heroes don't kill. I don't know if that rule applies to rats. Personally, we rabbits think that rats are the lowest of the low, but that's a whole different story.
As you say that, you can hear like some squeaking and protest happening.
What if we just, weren't here?
They're having this conversation about killing the rats, and just like without a word, I'm just like taking out this fist-sized thing that slowly forms, pulls itself out into my spear shape, just staring down these rats.
They do not like the look of that spear. You do start to hear some heavy footfalls in the distance from the direction that the second group of rats peeled away and ran off.
So that direction is behind us now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you guys just heard from behind you some heavy footfalls. What do you do?
That sounds like a thing I can fight. So I'm just gonna turn around and immediately like stomp through the rats a few steps forward to hopefully get a better like view of it, if nothing else, being a giant beacon of light.
And then you said you have like your device as a spear.
Yeah, so I've got the spear out. I've got it like resting on my shoulder, but I am ready to cut a bitch.
Ahead of you, illuminated by your body, you see a gigantic rat that's kind of blocking the tunnel. And atop it, you see one of the rat lords who is also holding a spear. He kind of like looks at your spear, like looks at his, and just kind of grins.
I myself am beaming. This is like it's my fucking birthday.
So what do you do?
Not beaming like you normally beam, extra beamy.
Everyone's got about like 2 seconds to add their contribution to the situation because Solar Flare immediately just goes, I'm gonna fight that.
My contribution is watching that happen. I want to see it.
All right, wonderful, because I can fly. That's the thing I can do. I keep forgetting that, and that's hilarious to me because it doesn't matter how high up this knight is because I'm flying right up in his face so we can spear fight.
Excellent. Can you roll to directly engage a threat?
Absolutely. Fuck.
Oh my god.
That's a 4.
Cool. So you were trying to fly at him with your spear?
Yeah.
So as you start to fly, you see the rat start to charge, and the rat lord starts to grip his spear like perpendicular from him, so like just straight forward. And he starts rushing at you like this is a tournament. And his spear kind of catches you as you fly. Can you roll to take a powerful blow?
That's an 8.
So on a 7 to 9, you choose 1. Lash out verbally, give ground, or struggle past the pain.
I'm gonna struggle past the pain, and I'm gonna mark angry and insecure.
The spear kind of like pushes you back, and I think you fall back on the ground. But the rat lord kind of like reins his rat back into pause and just kind of grins at you guys, like, "Oh, I didn't think the Saber would send you guys. Good to see you again."
The pleasure is all ours. I want to use Snatch, and I want to take his spear.
Okay,
And that's my last burn.
cool. You got yourself a cool spear.
I'm going to reach into the hat, and, it's very magical the way it happens, but, I essentially just, reach into the hat and pull my hand out, And as I pull my hand out, the back of his spear starts to disappear. Like, you don't see my hand reach around it. It just starts to like fade out and then appear in my hand.
Oh, he just kind of like tisks as you do that, like, oh, you shouldn't have done that.
I look at him and I'm like, oh, really? Well, I also probably shouldn't have done this. And then I want to throw the spear and try to knock him off his rat.
Cool. That's directly engaging a threat.
Presh. That's a 4.
He reaches down to his waist and pulls out a sword and just like whacks the spear so it goes flying in a different direction.
Well, that was less than effective.
Man, not even a hello. You just want to throw like my own spear straight at me? Wow. Well, what are you doing?
I want to start running towards him and yell out, hat now, like hold up my hand to catch it.
I let it go and it just flies towards your hand. Like, I don't even throw it at you. I just like let it fly towards you.
And I'm gonna grab it and like aim the opening at him and then say a few words. And you know those infinite ribbons magicians pull out? Like just a ton of those fly out. And I'm trying to, they're gonna like slam into him. I'm hoping to wrap him up in them.
I think that would go with directly engaging a threat versus unleash your powers.
Cool.
Oh,
I
nice.
You haven't entered battle against a dangerous team yet. Can I bump that up to a 10?
Why don't we do that? Since it's more than one of you guys now. Who is the leader in this fight?
I think I am.
I actually think it's Walla because Walla got that hit hidden after we fucked up.
I think in this case, I'm looking to Cass because of the ability to talk to animals.
That's what I was thinking too.
Cool. Cass, do you have influence over everyone on the team?
I do not have influence over Solar Flare.
Cool. And what is everyone's purpose in the fight?
Defeat the Rat Lord, get Saber stuff back.
Same.
Primary interest in defeating the Rat Lord. Saber stuff is secondary.
I'll give you guys that one. Does anybody mistrust the leader or the team?
Nope.
I do not.
No.
Cool. And is the team ill-prepared or off balance?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Cool. So we are at 4 team.
Cool. I'm going to spend one of those to bump that 9 that Ginger just got up to a 10.
How is Cass helping?
I think tossing you the hat would be the way I gave you the extra boost.
I would like to choose take something from them and resist or avoid their blows. Take something from them being their mobility if I can. I'd like to wrap them up in the, like squeeze them tight in these scarves.
Yeah. You wrap him up, and he kind of looks surprised, like, oh, was not expecting that. He kind of like whistles. He does like a loud whistle, and you hear movement behind you guys from that large group of rats.
Oh, I don't like that at all. I'm gonna spin, looking at the group, like Radicus, you in there? Because things are about to get hairy.
He's not answering you.
Hello, bastard.
He did lead you to a rat lord, and that is what you asked him to do.
I hope he enjoys that granola bar. It was stale as hell.
I think I'm just going to turn and just like blast the rats back. I don't think I'm trying to kill them. I think I'm just trying to like knock them as far back as I can.
Cool. Go ahead and unleash your powers.
All right. That's a 13.
Amazing. So what does this blast look like?
I turn, and as I turn, there's a deck of cards in my hand. And I just like do the like cool fan thing that people do, like where they can like wave them between their 2 fingers, you know? And then I just like turn, flick my wrist, and that has now formed into just this like wall of cards, and I just like knock them backwards.
Yeah, I think in there, like, we see some like rats go flying. I think a small detail that the reader can notice is that there is a rat that has just lost hold of the granola bar due to the blast.
No, Radicus.
I don't think that got rid of all of the rats because there are so many, but you've definitely like blasted them backwards. But a couple are still like not coming at you guys, but kind of running along the sides of the walls, like around you. What do you do?
Can I roll to charge my burn again?
Yeah.
So that gives me 2 hold.
Mark it any conditions?
I'm going to mark guilty. I let us into this.
Solar Flare, what are you up to?
You know, I'm pretty mad about getting knocked back, actually. So while everybody's doing this, so I get to take an opportunity to like pick myself up, dust myself off, be kind of pissy, and charge at the Rat Lord again.
Okay, just as a heads up, he is currently tied up.
That's cool. He can't fight. I'm just gonna knock him right off of his rat. Fuck this guy.
Okay. I think since he's tied up, you just do that. You just knock him off. Are you doing that with your
Whack
hand?
him with the butt of her
spear?
swing.
Okay. Yeah. So you knock him off, and the large rat that he was riding kind of like turns its head to look at you, like what? However, as you knock the rat lord off, and I'm just gonna like say his name because I really want to. This is a Duke Rathu.
Yes.
Editor's note, Duke Rathu. I came up with several names to these rat lords, and I am very excited about them.
Fantastic.
So he falls to the ground, and some of the rats that had been going around you guys start like trying to untie him from, I guess, whatever material will I use to wrap him up.
And we still have a bunch more rats left, right? They've been thinned out a bit.
They've been pushed back, but there's still like a decent amount there, and the ones that got pushed back are coming back towards you. They just have to catch back up.
Cool. I'm gonna look at Cass, but Cass, make sure Solar Flare is okay. I think I've got these guys. And I'm gonna spend my last burn to use Worship, which is you put out a tremendous display of your might, spend one burn to awe an audience into silence, respect, and attention when you unleash your powers. And
Are
I
you
think
trying to awe the rats?
yes, I am. I absolutely am. And I think what that looks like is just I grab several decks of cards out of my pockets. I have an absurd amount of decks of cards on me.
Oh,
I think
well, of
this
course.
is reasonable because I don't do magic in real life, and I think I have at least 6 decks of cards within arm's reach. So that's my excuse. And I just throw all the cards in the air. They start like swirling around me, and just they like stick to my body and form like what looks like a large armor. And there's just faces all over my body made out of playing cards that just snap and growl at the rats.
They're terrified. You see some of them in the back that have been blasted back. They're just turning tail and running away. The others, they're not running, but they're hesitant.
Do you want me to roll to unleash?
Do you have to roll
I'm
to
so-
unleash for a flare?
With worship, yeah.
With worship? Okay, then
There's
yeah.
a couple. Yeah, there's a few of them you have to roll for. I will mark a condition. I'm gonna mark afraid. I think this is the first time I've done this, and it actually kind of scares me as well.
I like that. So Velveteen and Solar Flare, while Voila is doing that, there are the rats that are working on untying Duke Rathu. What do you do?
I see them all working on the ropes, and I'm like, well, that's just not going to work, is it? And I'm going to be like, can I have the hat, please?
I think without looking, just sling it behind me to you.
I grab it and immediately use Snatch, where I spend one burn to seize any one object up to the size of a person from someone within view. That object is going to be a person, and it's going to be Duke Rathu.
You just pull the entire person out of the hat?
Yep. I'm pretty tall. Like, I'm a fairly tall person. So I'm holding him up by, like, the scruff of his neck, facing away from me. As I, like, pull him out of this hat and hold him up in front of me. And I'm like, now then, we're not going to untie you. So you might as well tell us where the stuff that you stole from Saber is.
So the rats have gotten like some of him untied, and he's got like one hand out, and he just kind of flails it around and sees that he can't really do anything. So he sighs. He's like, yeah, okay, that was us. It's back at our base.
Excellent. So shall we follow you then?
I mean, it's a couple miles away.
Great. You can walk and we'll ride. And I think I swing my leg over the rat.
Well, you're trying to have a reasonable conversation in the background. It's just Solar Flare trying to fight this rat.
I think you're going to have to provoke this rat to let you ride it.
And that's a 9.
I'd like to spend a team. Can it be considered helping if, like, at the point where that's being said, like, in the background, we get another flare up of cards and energy just as part of my worship?
Trying to distract the giant rat.
Or just, like, add some intimidation to it?
Yeah, okay, you can do that.
Cool.
So that is a 10 plus. So they do what you want. I will say that this rat cannot carry all 3 of you.
Once I'm on, I'm going to gesture for Junta.
I turn, and I think all the cards just fall away. My eyes are back to normal. And I start walking towards the rat. And as I do so, like, the cards just kind of start flitting through the air back into my pockets.
So, feel like going for a quick ride?
Can that carry all of us?
I mean, Solar Flare can fly, and I can turn into a rabbit, so it really only has to carry you.
That works for me.
Great. I turn into a rabbit. And as I do, I whisper into its ear, and I'm like, if you throw my friend off, I don't really know what we'll do to you, but, you know, we do have a person made of living fire, so just keep that in mind.
It just kind of squeaks and like, yeah, sure, okay. So the 2 of you are riding and Solar Flare is flying and you're just letting Duke Rathu walk?
That was my plan, yeah.
So you guys start walking. I'm guessing he's going in front of you to lead the way.
That seems good. And all the panels riding this visibly uncomfortable being touching this giant rat.
Excellent. So you guys go forward, maybe like half a mile. I don't think Duke Rathu is really talking to you guys much. He looks kind of bummed out about the situation. About half a mile down, though, he looks back at you guys and he kind of grins and ducks down. Like he turns a corner and runs down that way into a small alley that is not going to fit the rat.
I'm just gonna take off and start following him.
Yeah, it won't fit the rat, but can I squeeze through?
Considering you're larger, I think it'll be tight, like you won't be fast, but you can fit.
We're gonna let Velveteen go first, but I'll go in after. I'm not having a great time, but I get like halfway in there and I'm like, I've already come this far!
Well, what are you doing?
I think we get a panel after the 2 of them fly down that. Like, I'm like, I guess I'll stay here with the rat. Kind of like looking down the alleys or the turn off to see if I can figure out what's going on. But I don't know if we should leave this rat. I think it's just going to be gone if I leave.
Okay, so Velveteen, since you're first, what you see ahead of you is down this alley, maybe like 20 feet ahead is a ladder that is going up to the surface. And Duke Rathu has gotten his one arm free and he is kind of like using one arm to get himself up the ladder.
Is there enough space that I can just like fly up in his way?
Not really. Like the sewer itself has like the same height of the ceiling until you get to the tube that the ladder goes up in. It's like you could definitely fly over Velveteen since Velveteen is a rabbit.
I'm gonna let him go.
I'm trying to catch up.
So you're following him, Solar Flare?
Yeah.
You get to the bottom of the ladder, and as you look, like we get another like panel from below where we see him pushing up on this, what do you call it, like the manhole cover. He's pushing that up and getting that out of the way, and he's currently climbing out. What do you do?
Ideally, the thing I would like to do, if I can reach, is to just kind of stop him. Maybe from here, grab him by the ankle and pull him back down.
Cool. Can you directly engage the threat?
Oh, just barely. 7, I'll take it.
So on a 7 to 9, you can pick one.
Can take something from them. Can just his ankle. Does that count as a thing I can take from him?
You can take his ankle.
Grab him.
So what happens is you grab his ankle and he he loses hold of what he was grabbing onto, and he falls on top of you. Take a powerful blow.
Lovely. Hey.
No, that's good. You want to roll low.
No, that's good. That's good. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
that's just barely.
so the fun of on a miss is that you still mark potential, and then just tell me how you weather the blow of a grown adult man falling on top of you from like 20 feet up.
I think it's just like a shitty Acme sequence where like I pull at his ankle and I can't quite get a grip and he falls on top of me and it like I'm flying so I don't like it hurts but it hurts like having something I'm still flying so he like falls and rolls off of me and I'm still just floating there rubbing my head like fuck's sake while this poor man is stuck on the ground.
So, Velveteen, what do you do after all of this just happened?
Just like float back down, rubbing my head, just looking very annoyed.
He opened the manhole cover at the top, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna use another burn. I've got 2 left because I've rolled it 3 times this session. I'm gonna use another burn. I'm gonna use move, and I'm just gonna be at the top of the manhole cover still as a rabbit.
So, up above, you see a different rat lord who looks kind of surprised. He looked like he was like he's right in front of you. He looked like he was reaching towards Duke Rathu to grab him before somebody pulled him back. But you are up on like a sidewalk in Moon Harbor. You're on like a fairly busy street. You're right up by a building.
Do I recognize the area? Do I know like where I am?
Do you go out much, considering like
No.
we're just
No,
around
I
it?
don't.
Okay, then yeah, you
No.
don't really recognize the area.
Cool. I'm still a rabbit, but I think I'm gonna like rear back and just like jump and try to kick him in the face.
Okay, directly engage a threat.
That's not gonna be pretty. That's a 9.
Cool. 7 and 9. Pick one.
I think I'm gonna impress, surprise, or frighten the enemy.
Awesome. So you're just jumping at him. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like jump and like whip around and like rabbit kick him in the face. It's not really enough to hurt him, but it hurts more than he thought it was going to.
Yeah, I think you knock him backwards, and he looks surprised, kind of twofold. Like he was a bit surprised beforehand because his friend just fell, and then a rabbit came up out of the sewer, and then it just kicked him in the face. So he looks pretty shocked and confused.
Does he have like a rat steed with him, or is it just him?
It's just him.
I'm gonna, as I like come back from kicking him in the face, transform back and land in a perfect 3-point stance in front of him.
He gets up and he books it through one of the doors nearby.
Is it a glass door or a wooden door?
It is like a metal door. It's like a side door of a building.
Before he's gone, I'm gonna use snatch and grab him, spend my last burn, and just like grab him again by the nape of the neck and just pull him back and be like, I've had this conversation with your compatriot now, and running away is just not going to do you any good. So do me a favor and wait, and I'm going to drop him in the manhole.
Solar Flare, are you still right below the ladder?
I think at this point she has like I've moved on just enough to pick up Duke Rathu like by the ankle like he's a bag of garbage, and I'm about to go back up, and instead this other dude just hits the ground in front of me. There's just this panel of me like with this dude hoisted up by the ankle like a trash bag, and then this other dude goes whump, and I look up and I'm like, really?
Well, what are you up to?
Can I just set this whole panel?
Yeah.
So we get the panel of the other tunnel, and Voila's now like leaned against one side of the tunnel and is just chatting with the giant rat. And I think we cut in. He's like, yeah, so that's how I got into stage magic. And you know what? Let me just show you. And he pulls out a like spreads out cards, like pick a card.
The rat kind of like leans forward and grabs a card with its teeth. What's the trick you're doing?
Oh, it's just I start shuffle the card back in, and can we jump back to the end of this? in a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Cool.
just really funny. Okay, Velveteen, what are you up to? You just threw this other rat lord down the manhole.
I'm gonna climb down the ladder and like jump the last couple feet and like land in front of them. And I'm gonna be like, all right, so you two stole things from Saber and we want it back. So we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way.
Moon Harbor Extended is part of the Icy New Year Presents network and is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. She can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. Days Errant is GM by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Elin on Twitter. Chunta is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Rainer is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Solar Flare is played by Courtney. You can find her on Twitter at Adramadam. Velveteen is played by T. Huth. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music from this issue is Call to Adventure by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.